How Europe took over Southern Africa. The Untold Story. During their odysseys around the southern tip of Africa, midway along the maritime highway between Europe and Asia, European sea captains in the 17th century regularly anchored at Table Bay at the Cape of Good Hope to replenish supplies, revive their weary crews, and negotiate for cattle with local Khoikhoi herders. English and Dutch vessels were the primary visitors, but others arrived from France and Scandinavia, forging a vibrant cultural exchange. After months of arduous navigation, Table Bay offered a serene oasis. The surrounding landscape was lush with a mild climate, devoid of tropical afflictions, and delighted sailors who ventured ashore. Such was the enchanting experience of a voyager from England's East India Company in 1611, who recounted their tale with awe. "I went 2 leagues inland with 4 or 5 others. I have never seen a better land in my life. The climate is very healthy, insomuch that, arriving there with many of our people sick, they all regained their health and strength within 20 days. And we found the natives of the country to be very courteous and tractable folk. Discover the allure of the Cape Peninsula, where the Dutch East India Company, or Verenigde de Oost-Indische Compagnie, VOC, was spurred to establish a strategic hub at Table Bay. What sparked this pivotal decision? A marooned Dutch crew were stranded at the Cape for a year and returned to Holland, fervently praising the prospects of a settlement, prompting the VOC directors to dispatch an expedition in 1652 to Table Bay. Led by John van Riebeeck, a team of 90 men aimed to establish a flourishing outpost. This pivotal Dutch foray into the Cape Peninsula would evolve into territorial dominance, igniting centuries of tumultuous land disputes in South Africa and Southern Africa. The Dutch Cape Station proved beneficial, supplying necessities like seafood, dairy, and even meat, including from Khoikhoi herders. To revamp the struggling venture, the VOC liberated 39 employees in 1657, granting them 30-acre plots in Rondebosch. Dubbed free burghers, they were obliged to sell their harvest to the company at predetermined rates. The company continued to release workers, mostly Dutch and German, to cultivate the land as independent agriculturists. The infiltration of European colonizers on their ancestral pasture lands on the Cape Peninsula sparked local Khoikhoi chiefs to rebel. In 1659, the Khoikhoi launched a surprise raid, expelling settlers from 5 ranches on the eastern slopes of Table Mountain and confiscating their cattle. Following a prolonged impasse, Van Riebeeck convened with Khoikhoi envoys to broker a peace accord, chronicling in his diary a testament to their discontent and concerns. They spoke for a long time about our taking every day for our own use more of the land which had belonged to them from all ages, and on which they were accustomed to pasture their cattle. They also asked whether, if they were to come to Holland, they would be permitted to act in a similar manner, saying, "It would nor matter if you stayed at the fort, but you come into the interior, selecting the best land for yourselves, and never once asking whether we like it, or whether it will put us to any inconvenience." They therefore insisted very strenuously that they should again be allowed free access to the pasture. They objected that there was not enough grass for both their cattle and ours. "Are we not right, therefore, to prevent you from getting any more cattle? For if you get many cattle, you come and occupy our pasture with them, and then say the land is not wide enough for us both. Who then, with the greatest degree of justice, should give way, the natural owner or the foreign invader?" They insisted so much on this point that we told them they had now lost the land in war, and therefore could not expect to get it back. It was our intention to keep it. Under a historic 1660 accord, the Khoikhoi of the Cape Peninsula retained seized livestock, incurred no penalties for inflicted devastation, but ominously ceded land claims, acknowledging VOC dominion over territories settled by free burghers, foreshadowing a precarious fate. With this pivotal moment, the first major land takeover had unfolded, but to thwart further invasions, Van Riebeeck commissioned the build of a robust perimeter fence around the settlement's borders, marked by sturdy fences, vigilance towers, and a thorny barrier of bitter almonds. This historic treaty and land guardianship, however, didn't quell all strife, and what followed will intrigue you even the more. Subscribe for more on this captivating history. Thank you for watching Lessons Untold. Relax, review, reflect.